So, curious readers, I'm Dave from Dave's Book Summaries, and today I'm back with another book. This is another book by Alan Gratz, and it is called Ground Zero. The book is based on the 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers and the U.S. war in Afghanistan in 2019. This book consists of two different stories that are told simultaneously. So, without further delay, let's get started. So we'll start with the first narrative. The first story takes place on September 11, 2001 in New York City. 9-year-old Brendan Chavez has been suspended from school for punching a kid. He has to spend the day with his dad, Leo Chavez, at Windows on the World, which is the restaurant where Leo works at. The restaurant is located on the 107th floor, which is the top floor of the North Tower. Brendan's mom had died from cancer about 4 years ago, and ever since then, Brendan and his dad have been a team. Brendan is assigned a job to do when a fire breaks out in the kitchen. These types of fires happen pretty often, so everyone takes care of it pretty easily. But in the small moments of distraction, Brendan slips out of the restaurant and into the elevator. Brendan's plan is to go to the underground mall to buy Wolverine gloves, which his friend Cedric lost in the fight at the school. There were a few other people in the elevator at the time when the elevator starts to sway back and forth and suddenly starts zooming towards the ground. The elevator stops when Brendan hits the emergency stop button. Smoke starts creeping into the elevator, and the people inside barely manage to make a small hole through 3 layers of drywall. The hole is just big enough for Brendan to squeeze through it. He gets help, and everyone is out of the elevator seconds before it falls through to the ground. Someone from the elevator calls their family, and that's when everyone from the elevator learns that a passenger jet has flown into the North Tower. Is headed back down to move out of the building, but Brandon tries to go all the way back up to see if he can get back to his dad. He makes it all the way up to the 89th floor, but the floor there is destroyed, like there's literally no ground. He almost falls to his death when he is rescued by Richard. Richard is a man who works in the office a few floors down and becomes Brandon's partner for the rest of the time. Richard wants to go back down because the floor is destroyed, but Brandon is determined to get back to his dad. He is very stubborn, so Richard is forced to go with him since he cannot leave the kid alone. They find another stairwell and manage to make it all the way up to the 93rd floor before they have to stop again. This time they have no choice but to head back down to Richard's office. Brandon tries to call Windows on the World and he is able to talk to his dad. Leo assures Brendan that he is okay and that rescuers should be able to rescue him from there. Another plane hits the South Tower at the same time that Brendan was talking to his dad, and now Brendan's dad starts to sound worried. He knows that at this point it's not an accident but it's an attack, so he tells Brendan to start moving out of the building. Brendan and Richard start moving and stop again on the 20th floor. A lot of the crowd is in the stairwells since everyone is trying to leave the building. Brendan tries to call his dad, and Richard tries to contact his family. Brendan's dad knows that he won't be rescued at this point, so he asks Brendan to give the phone to Richard. Leo tells Richard to keep Brendan safe with him and help him. The last 10 floors are filled with people, but there is a stampede in which Brendan isn't able to breathe. But the stampede breaks up eventually when rescuers are seen climbing up to the top of the building. Everyone is being directed to the basement since outside the main exit isn't safe. The basement is pitch black and nobody can see anything. In fact, it's so dark that everyone thinks they have gone blind. Brandon grabs on to a Tasmanian devil toy while he was down there. Brendan and Richard make it out of there by relying on their senses. When they make it out of the building finally, they are able to see the chaos outside. They also notice that the South Tower has collapsed to the ground. The North Tower is starting to fall too. They have to run down the street as fast as they can so none of the building materials flying around hit them. They manage to get back to Richard's house safely, where they learn everything the news knows about the terrorist attacks. Okay, so that was the first story. Now we'll move on to the second narrative. This story is about a girl named Rashmina. Rashmina is an 11-year-old girl living in a small village in Afghanistan with her parents, grandmother, older sister, whose name is Marzia, her brother, whose name is Pusun, and her younger brother, Wazir. Rashmina's other older sister, Hila, was killed by Americans at her wedding because they thought they were the Taliban. The date was September 11th, 2019 in the story. On this day, Rashmina and Pasoon were outside when they saw Americans and the ANA going around the village searching houses. Soon, the soldiers are at Rashmina's house. Pasoon gets very angry when he sees the ANA agreeing with the Americans. On the other hand, Rashmina was thinking about different things. An Afghan woman was working as a translator for Americans, and Rashmina was fascinated by this because no other woman she knew was working outside the homes. Also, she was excited because she was able to understand what the Americans were speaking in English. Unlike Hasoon, Rashmina still kept up with her English lessons at school. They find out that the soldiers are looking for a collection of Taliban weapons in the village. Rashmina tries to follow the soldiers after they leave her house to follow the translator, but soon stops her and reveals that the story of a weapon supply is fake and the Taliban made it up as bait to get the soldiers in one place to attack them. Before she had time to tell anyone, the attack had happened. Rashmina was outside after the attack and the shooting was over when she encountered a wounded American soldier who wasn't able to walk. He asked Rashmina for help, and she couldn't refuse, so she guided him to her home so that he could crawl behind her. Rashmina's dad agrees to take in the soldier and give him refuge. Rashmina recognizes the soldier as the one who had come to search her house and noticed that he had a stuffed animal. The soldier tells him that his name is Taz and that the stuffed animal is a Tasmanian devil. Hassoun, who was still outside, was very happy that the Taliban attack succeeded, as all the soldiers, including the translator, had died. Hassoun is furious to see the one remaining soldier who survived being in his own home and leaves to go inform the Taliban. Rashmina's dad assures Taz that they will not let anything happen to him. Rashmina's dad leaves to go inform the ANA base about Taz to get help, while Rashmina leaves to try and stop Passoon from informing the Taliban. Rashmina finds Passoon in the mountains already calling the Taliban. But before the Taliban get to him, an American helicopter comes in the way and a battle starts. Rashmina and Passoon barely manage to leave the place, but Passoon goes to another site to call the Taliban again. Rashmina is convinced that Passoon will not change his mind and runs back to her village to tell everyone. Everyone goes down and hides in the underground caves to stay safe from the battle that they know is about to happen above them. The caves soon collapse by the bullets and the grenades, but Rashmina makes an escape hole by blowing up an old landmine inside the cave. Outside, when Taz meets his friends, they think it's ironic that this is happening on September 11th, except just in a different year. Everyone else is confused and doesn't know what 9/11 is. Taz explains the attacks on the Twin Towers and later reveals that his dad had died in those attacks. Taz was in fact Brendan. Okay, guys, that was it for the whole video. Those were the two narratives. As you saw, the book is very interesting and very good. Again, it's written by Alan Gratz and it is called Ground Zero. Alan Gratz has also written other good books like Refugee and Allies. Refugee, I have a summary on my channel, so make sure you go check that out too. So, before we leave, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and share this video. And keep reading, keep improving. Peace out.